For centuries, knowledge has been hidden in plain sight across the sands of time. Whispers of lost civilizations, cryptic symbols, and forbidden histories have been erased or concealed. What if the truth was never lost, but hidden? Welcome to Eye of Ancient Mysteries, where the past speaks and the future listens. Sit back, open your mind, and prepare to uncover the untold secrets of our world. Let the journey begin now. They are among us! 5 UFO stories. How military secrets and espionage are covered up. Once you start seeing the data on what people observe, you realize there is a greater reality beyond what our senses perceive, says an expert. Just as every region in the U.S. has its urban legends, many also have their own conspiracy theories. Here are some of the most popular UFO stories. 1. Experiments at Area 51. Area 51 is a highly classified U.S. military training range located in the Groom Lake area, between the towns of Alamo and Rachel in southern Nevada, about 145 kilometers from Las Vegas. It is located in the 51st quadrant of the Nellis Air Force Base, from which it gets its name. The main activities in the area include designing and creating new aircraft, test flights, and studying foreign military planes, helicopters, and weapons. Strong explosives, including nuclear weapons, have been tested there. The base is considered a restricted zone, and all vehicles traveling nearby are closely monitored by military posts on the hills. Road signs warn that photography is prohibited and that shooting on sight is enforced. Drones are also banned. Route 375 in the area is known as the Extraterrestrial Highway. People working at the base travel from Las Vegas by chartered plane called Janet. Nothing can leave the area, neither garbage nor mail nor people. The government denied the existence of Area 51 until photos of the base taken by a Russian spy plane were made public. The secrecy surrounding the base's activities gave rise to various conspiracy theories. The most popular of these is that the government studies crashed alien spacecraft and other UFOs, as well as extraterrestrial beings, in the area. People believe that the crash that occurred near Roswell, New Mexico in 1947 is being investigated there. Others claim that the moon landing was staged at Area 51. It is said that the underground facility has 40 levels and is connected via underground railways to sites in Los Alamos and Los Angeles, with secret locations and storage rooms full of alien technologies and even live specimens. In 1989, Robert Lazar shocked the world when he announced on a television program that he was part of a military operation working on alien technology. Lazar claimed that the government had at least 9 alien spacecraft at a base called S4, also located within the vicinity of Area 51. In the late 1990s, Scott Runney stated on American television that he was a former employee at Area 51. He claimed that one of the underground hangars contained extraterrestrial beings. U.S. officials immediately countered, stating that this information was not true and that Scott Runney was insane. The President of the United States, Bill Clinton, also denied the claims of UFOs in secret laboratories. In response, famous nuclear physicist Bob Lazar commented that it's unlikely the President of the United States would go out of his way to deny the statements of someone insane. The government claims that the base is used for testing experimental aircraft for the military. The most recent declassified documents show that there were aircraft with unusual shapes, but no flying saucers. 2. UFO tourism in Roswell, New Mexico one morning on July 4, 1947. Independence Day, a rancher named Mac Brazil discovered something unusual in his pasture about 75 miles from Roswell, New Mexico. There were scattered metallic rods, tied with tape, pieces of plastic and foil reflectors, and remnants of a heavy, shiny material. Unable to identify the strange objects, Brazil called the sheriff of Roswell. In turn, the sheriff contacted personnel at the nearby Air Force base. Soldiers quickly gathered the mysterious debris and took it away in armored trucks. A few days later, the Roswell Daily Record published an article titled, "RAAF Captures Flying Disc on Ranch in Roswell." The article sparked conspiracy theories that continue to this day. On July 9, an Air Force officer issued a counter-statement. The supposed flying disc was just a crashed weather balloon. For anyone who had seen the wreckage or the newspaper photos, it was clear that whatever it wasn't a weather balloon. Some people believe that the crashed vehicle didn't come from Earth at all, claiming that the debris in Brazil's field was from an extraterrestrial spacecraft. These skeptics grew in number during the 1950s, when the Air Force conducted a series of secret operations over air bases, test ranges, and flights in New Mexico. These experiments, designed to test how pilots could survive falling from high altitudes, were conducted using dummies with latex skin and aluminum bones, which resembled extraterrestrials falling from the sky, with military vehicles descending to the landing site to retrieve the bodies as quickly as possible. For those who believed the government was covering up the truth about the Roswell landing, these dummy drops seemed very suspicious. They were convinced that the dummies were actually extraterrestrial beings that had been abducted for experiments by government scientists. It turns out that the military knew more about Brazil's flying disc than they were letting on. After World War II, a group of scientists worked on a top-secret espionage project in the Alamogordo airfield in New Mexico. The Mogul project used high-altitude balloons to carry low-frequency sound sensors into a remote part of the Earth's atmosphere, creating a sound channel. In this part of the atmosphere, sound waves could travel thousands of miles without interference. The scientists believed that if they sent microphones into this sound channel, they could eavesdrop on nuclear tests as far away as the Soviet Union. According to the U.S. military, the debris in Brazil's field was actually from the Mogul project. It was launched from the Alamogordo base in June and crashed in early July 1947. Since the project was classified, no one at the Roswell base knew it existed, and they had no idea what to do with the objects that Brazil had found. So, in fact, some base personnel were concerned that the remains came from a Russian spy plane or satellite information they were unwilling to share with the public. The weather balloon story, though flimsy, was the simplest and most plausible explanation they could come up with in a short time. The incident was almost forgotten until the 1970s, when nuclear physicist Stanton Friedman wrote a book claiming the crash was the result of extraterrestrial activity. Nearly 50 years later, the military published a report linking the incident to the top-secret atomic espionage project called Project Mogul. But even today, many people continue to believe in the UFO theory, and each year hundreds of curious visitors come to Roswell and the crash site. 3. It was metallic blue. February 10, 1977, was a very important day in UFO conspiracy history. On this day, several police officers reported seeing a strange object hovering in the sky over a forest in Flora, Mississippi. The officers stated they saw an object hovering in the sky, something they had never seen before. They followed the UFO as it disappeared behind the horizon. It was about 15 to 18 feet off the ground, something like metallic blue in color, with portholes around its center. One of the officers said, years later, 2 spots about 15 feet in diameter were found in the forest where nothing grew. But there was never an official explanation as to whether what the officers saw was a UFO. 4. Over 3,000 saw it. In October 1987, Wayne Pike, the sheriff of White County, reported that he and his 4 deputies, some with military experience, had witnessed strange lights in the sky. This triggered panic in Whiteville, Virginia, and unleashed a wave of conspiracy theories. By 1988, there were 3,000 reported UFO sightings in the area. Suddenly, everyone started seeing UFOs, said a reporter from the Bristol Herald-Courier. The journalist also reported seeing something strange in the sky one night, describing it as a glowing light. The story quickly gained national attention, but there was never an official explanation for the sightings. Some believe the entire town was just experiencing mass hysteria. However, the first reports of mysterious lights linked to conspiracy theories came from Brown Mountain in North Carolina. The date was September 24, 1913. A local newspaper published an article about an eyewitness who saw a ball of light floating through the valley until it disappeared. All theories regarding its origin or nature have failed due to the lack of evidence supporting them. The article said, the lights themselves became a conspiracy, with people arguing over their existence. But in 2016, a group of scientists captured the lights on camera. There was something there. It turned on and came back 4 times over a few minutes. One of the scientists told ABC, "We eliminated all things that were probably man-made and natural sources. So we are left with no real explanation except what the lights might actually be." Theories about what the lights could be include ball lightning and natural gases. On a July night in 2016, a man in Bristol, Tennessee, reported seeing a slow, moving red ball floating over the Dobrolier Parkway, heading northeast. The man had been walking his dog after a game of his favorite teams and saw the ball coming toward his house, located just behind a store. I ran into the house to call my girlfriend to see the ball too, the man told the Washington, based National UFO Reporting Center, which does not disclose the identities of those who report sightings. When I went back outside, I watched the ball travel at high speed, heading southeast, until it became a small dot and disappeared from sight. Danny Gordon, director of WYVE radio station, also reported seeing a strange object. Paul Dellinger, who worked as a reporter for the Roanoke Times for over 40 years, began reporting on the events after Gordon's first radio story. Dellinger said he saw some strange lights in the sky one night. I was driving home at night and saw a light at the end of the road that looked like street lighting. But it was glowing, he said. The light was falling very slowly across the road, moving at the speed of a balloon. He also described hearing a very quiet engine. Despite his own experience, Dellinger was not sure that anyone had seen actual UFOs. I don't believe these sightings are of extraterrestrials, but I don't know what it was, he said. Gordon and Dellinger published a book called Don't Look Up Em, the true story behind UFO sightings in Virginia. Is the truth out there? Peter Davenport, director of the National UFO Reporting Center, thinks so. He is a retired firefighter from Seattle who became interested in UFO phenomena and believes the issue needs a central hub for gathering information. In 1994, Davenport took over the position. He receives between 15 and 30 UFO reports a day. The online database he maintains has over 100 Zalosan records from all 50 states, Canadian territories, and some other countries. When you start looking at the data of what people are seeing and experiencing, you realize there's a bigger reality than what our five senses offer, he said. What I'm looking for is evidence, he added. Photographic evidence, radar evidence, multiple witnesses, independent and reliable, reporting the same thing. That's the data I strive to gather. Sometimes, those who claim to have seen a UFO call the police. Byron Ashbrook from the Washington County Sheriff's Office stated that UFO calls are rare but happen once or twice a year. Ashbrook said the calls are treated like any other air traffic incident, such as a report of a low-flying aircraft. Captain Charlie Thomas of the police department in Bristol, Tennessee, said that during his time in the department from 1992 onward, he had not witnessed anything unexplained. If something were reported, we'd look into it and see if we could observe it and go from there, he said. 5. Wow! Signal from space. On August 15, 1977, astronomer Jerry Emmon recorded a radio signal using the Big Air telescope at Ohio State University. The sound was loud and lasted 72 seconds. Emmon wrote, "Wow!" on the printout, giving it the name, "Wow!" signal. Unfortunately, the signal was never heard again, leading many to believe it might have been extraterrestrial in origin.